Hey Dabbers, and welcome back to another Dab 2000 video and another kind of ranking video because it's not really a ranking video. Today I'm going to give you guys my favorite movie from every year I would have been alive. So
now you will finally know his age.
You will know my age. That's kind of, you know what? You're gonna know this kid's age too.
How would you know my age?
I don't know. But yes, I've been filming all day today. I filmed Quiet Place and Despicable Me ranking today. But I put on a new shirt because I wanted to make it look like a different video, so that's why I put on a new shirt. This is a Transformers shirt I have on.
Did I ask?
I wasn't talking to you, little boy. So I'm going to start. So basically it's not the movie I loved that I watched that year. It's basically any movie that came out in that year. So for example, my end year rankings, like in 2023, it has to come out from that year, and I didn't have to watch it when I was, like, because I was born in 2008, so, like, my favorite movie would have been Toy Story, because I watched that so much, but I'm only going for movies that year, and I didn't have to watch it. Like, I didn't watch Iron Man in 2008 when I was 1 year old. I didn't, because,
But he watched it in the future.
Yeah, but I didn't. But it's probably going to be in my favorites. So, I just wanted to let you guys know what I'm actually doing. So, with that said, let's get started. This is probably going to be a long video because this is through, like, 16 years. So, each one is 16 years. I'm going to give honorable mentions because there's a lot of close seconds and stuff. And then I'll fly by 2022, 2023, and 2024 because I'm doing rankings of those. Why are you touching my water, Junior? Get away. Alright, so let's get started. We're going to start off with 2008.
7.
What? Don't you... I'm not that old. So, we're going to start off with 2008. The year I was born. And I'm going to start off with some honorable mentions before I give you my favorite movie of that year. So, some honorable mention is Kung Fu Panda. I love the first one. I think it's really good. I did a ranking a couple months back when Kung Fu Panda 4 came out, so go check out my ranking for more thoughts about Kung Fu Panda movies. We did talk about Kung Fu Panda a lot on the podcast too, like the first 2 episodes, so if you want to know more about it, check out the podcast, the Cinemac podcast. So, it's a really good film. It kick-started the Kung Fu Panda franchise, and I think it's just a really solid film. Another one, WALL-E, one of the best Pixar movies. It's definitely top 10. I just think WALL-E's a really solid movie, and it's just really good. And then my second place that, like, barely made a top spot, but I think there's one better, is Iron Man. This is the thing that started the MCU. It's my favorite franchise of all time. And you're probably wondering why I didn't put Iron Man at 1 if I love Marvel that much and it means so much to me. Because I do think there's one film better than Iron Man. And that is because my favorite film of 2008 is The Dark Knight.
Oh.
Which one would you pick? You probably picked Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah.
I know you would have. But you weren't born in 2008, so you don't get to be talking. Alright, so my favorite film of 2008 is The Dark Knight. If you don't know, if you haven't seen my Batman rankings or anything, I did not like The Dark Knight when I watched it. I thought it was fine. Like, when I first watched it, I thought it was fine. It was okay. It was good. But I kept rewatching it, and it just kept getting better and better. And, like, Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker in this film is truly astounding and awesome. He deserved an Oscar for that performance. Christian Bale is definitely the best Batman in my opinion. So,
It's the Lego Batman.
no, it's not the Lego Batman.
That was a joke.
It's just, this film is just really good, and it's like I think it's my top 3 favorite films of all time. So that's why it's got to be number 1. Yeah. All right, we're moving on to 2009. So, there wasn't as much films in this year, so I'm just going to fly by this year pretty quick. There was some honorable mentions for 2009 was Avatar. I don't love the first Avatar, but you can't deny that it looks incredible and the CGI is just top notch in that film. So you got to give it praise there. I don't think it's my favorite film of that year, but it's just solid. There's also Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Great movie, by the way.
Hilarious movie, really funny. Me and Junior watch it occasionally. It's just so funny. But I don't think it's like quite at that like top spot. And then there's also Fast and Furious, not the first one. This is the fourth one in this franchise, and I love the Fast and the Furious franchise, but I don't think this one was my favorite of them. It was just like the cave, like riding in the caves and stuff was cool, but other than that, it was kind of like not one of my favorites of the franchise. So, what is my favorite movie of 2009? So, my favorite movie of this year is Up. So, this is one of the best Pixar movies. The first 10 minutes of this film. Yeah, the first 10 minutes of this film is just heartbreaking and just so sad to see Ellie and Carl grow up together and losing Ellie. But then after the 10 minutes, it is just full on fun. Well, I wouldn't call it full on fun because there are still sad moments in there, but you go on this wild adventure that you care about. You care about all the characters. It's definitely one of the best Pixar movies. And yeah, that's why I think it's number one of this. That's why I think that. That's why I think Up is the best movie of 2009. So we're gonna move on to the 10s. 2010. I have more movies from this year, like more honorable mention because I've seen more movies in this year and stuff like that. Some honorable mentions I want to get out is How to Train Your Dragon, the first one. Pretty solid. I haven't watched it in a while, so that's why but I know like a lot of people love the How to Train Your Dragon franchise. I haven't seen them in a while, so I think me and Junior will rewatch it when the live action movie is gonna come out. What?
Live action?
Yeah, they're gonna do a live action one next year, I think.
Of course, I don't know this.
So I think I'll rewatch it then, but like I know a lot of people love those films, so that's why I put it on my honorable mention. Just the note, you guys know that came out that year.
Or when the Universal part.
Another honorable mention is Despicable Me.
Oh, that's a great one.
The first one, pretty good, and it's the one that started it all. If you want to know my reaction, like my full-on thoughts of this movie, I did a ranking of the Despicable Me movies a couple days back, so go check that out. Another honorable mention is Megamind.
Oh, yeah.
Really good film. It's basically like the villain turns into the hero, and it's just a very fun film to watch. Another honorable mention is Iron Man 2. I think the second one's very overhated, and I never understood the hate for it. So, I really like Iron Man 2. I think Whiplash is an awesome villain and everything like that. So, I really like this film. And then, my last honorable mention is Toy Story 3. This is the first film I saw in theaters, and I think this is one of the best Pixar films. If you want to know where I put it in my Pixar ranking, go check out my Pixar ranking somewhere on my channel. So, I just love the prison aspect of this film and everything like that. But my favorite movie of 2010 is Inception. I don't really talk about Inception on my channel because I just never have the perfect opportunity to, because it's not really like there's a new one coming out or anything like that. But this is the video where I'm going to talk about Inception. I think Inception is incredible. It is one of my favorite films of all time. I think it's in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. I think the dream aspect of this film is just very intriguing, and just like it will blow your mind how this film goes in the final act of this film. I watched this on like a road trip. I don't think you would like it because he's not the biggest fan of the Dark Knight films right now. I mean, he rewatches them and he's like, they're pretty good, but like you want to like throw them on, you know?
Yeah.
This is definitely not a film you want to throw on every time. There is like, it's just very intense and stuff. You might like it, but I don't know if you like would love it like I do. It's just Christopher Nolan did something very special in this film, and it's just really good. Alright, we're going to move on to 2011. So I think this was the year Junior was born.
Yeah, now they know my
Now they know your age. I wanted to get you in there. So, there's a lot of these in here, so let's dive right into it. So, honorable mention, Super 8. I know a lot of people love this film. It's just like
What's
this.
Super 8?
It's like there's like the group of kids, and they try to shoot a movie, and then there's aliens that arrive. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people love this film. I haven't seen it in a while, so I might like it more if I rewatch it, but I haven't watched it in a while. I just wanted to put that out there that came out that year. And I thought it was fine, but I haven't seen it in a while. We also got Kung Fu Panda 2. I think this is the best film in the Kung Fu Panda franchise, so...
No, I think the first one is.
Okay, but I just think Kung Fu Panda 2 is my favorite of the Kung Fu Panda films, so that was a good one. Thor came out that year. I'm not a huge fan of the first Thor, but it's still like a pretty good movie in the MCU. There's also Captain America, the First Avenger. I love that movie. I like the origins of Steve Rogers in that movie, but I don't think it quite reached the top. There's also X-Men First Class, the first of the new characters when they like recasted Charles Xavier and Magneto. I think it's one of the best X-Men films.
Yeah, I think that one's my favorite.
That one's your favorite? It's a really good X-Men film, so I really like that one. Fast 5 came out that year. That's probably my favorite film in the Fast and the Furious franchise. So that one was a contender because I really like that story and I like the Rio heist and everything like that. Rio Heist, it's a place, not the movie. And then my last honorable mention, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I think that film's awesome. And I love that trilogy of films, all the Planet of the Apes, and I like the new one that came out later this year, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. But it couldn't reach my number one because my favorite movie of 2011 is Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. This is my favorite movie in the Mission Impossible franchise. I think it's just really good. I like the Dubai sequence when he's just climbing on the tower with, like, he only did that with a harness, and it's just, like, one of the funniest ones. I don't know if it's the funniest one, but it is funny. And then, like, there's just so much good action in this film, and there's a lot of good stuff. Everyone's bringing their A game to this movie, and I just love the Mission Impossible franchise. Alright, we are moving on to 2012. So, some honorable mentions. Skyfall. I think this is one of the best films in the Daniel Craig James Bond films. So, it's really good. There's also The Hobbit and Unexpected Journey.
So good.
I liked it when I first watched it. I put it in my like top 5, but now like rewatching it, it's not the best.
Like top 5 favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, but it's not the best anymore. It's good, but it's not like top tier anymore, in my opinion.
Compared to other movies.
Yeah. There's Wreck-It Ralph that came out that year.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It Ralph. My bad.
Rick Roll Ralph.
Rick Roll Ralph.
Yeah.
You would do that.
I know.
But fun kids movie about the arcade and everything. Just a really solid movie. You also got The Amazing Spider-Man that year. I'm not a huge fan of any of the Amazing Spider-Man movies, but it's still a Spider-Man movie. It's pretty good still. You got the first Hunger Games that year. Hunger Games franchise is really good. I think the first one's the best one, so Hunger Games is in my honorable mentions. We got the Bourne Legacy. I think this is the Jeremy Renner one. I think this is my second favorite Jason Bourne film. For the first time watched these movies, and some of them, I think 2 of them are really good. The rest of them are kind of forgettable. I think Bourne Legacy is definitely one of the best, in my opinion. And comment down below if you want me to do a Jason Bourne ranking, because I haven't done that on the channel, and I don't know if they're going to release a new one. So comment down below if you just want a random ranking like that. And then my last honorable mention is The Dark Knight Rises. I think this might be Junior's favorite Dark Knight movie? No? Second one? He said Dark Knight Rises was his favorite for a while, but I think he changed when he watched Dark Knight again. right? But Bane is just an incredible villain in that film. I think it's very overhated because I think this film is still really good. Of course, it's the weakest of the Dark Knight trilogy, but it's still really good. But I'm a Marvel guy, so coming in at number for my favorite movie of 2012 is The Avengers. If you don't know, I'm a huge Marvel fan. I love the MCU, and The Avengers was the first team up superhero movie on the big screen, and it was just incredible. All the characters get their spotlight to shine in this film, and it's just really good. The final action sequence is amazing, and yeah, I haven't put any Marvel movies on the list so far, and there'll be more Marvel movies that hit number 1 in this ranking, but I'm gonna start my Marvel number 1 with The Avengers because The Avengers is just awesome. So then we got 2013, which is kind of when I was looking through all the movies I saw in 2013, there's not really one that stood out like, oh, this is like top tier 10 out of 10 movie. It was like a lot of like good movies. Like
What was?
2013. There was a lot of like 8 movies, like 8 out of 10 movies. Like solid movies, but they're not like the best thing I've ever seen, like some of the other ones I just mentioned. So, some honorable mentions, we got Monsters University, the first movie Junior saw in the theaters.
Yes.
It's fine. I don't think it's the best Pixar movie, but like you get to see how Sully and Mike became friends, so it's kind of cool. You also got Hobbit, The Hobbit, Desolation of Smaug. This is the second one. I think the second one's like really good. I think the first and second Hobbit movies are like tied as like how good they are, so I think that's one. The Lone Ranger came out that year. When I first watched that film, I really liked that film.
Not my favorite.
I haven't rewatched it, so that's probably might be a problem because a lot of people didn't like it. I might have to rewatch it to see how I still feel about it because I did put this in like my top 10 at one point, but like I don't think it is anymore. I gotta rewatch it to see how good it was. I only seen it one time and I really liked it, so it's on my honorable mentions because I don't really know. Marvel movies that came out that year, we got Iron Man 3, the final Iron Man film in the MCU, and I think it's yeah, it's very overhated because of the Mandarin twist, but like because Shang-Chi came out and it has the Mandarin, I feel like everyone needs to release the hate on Iron Man 3 because you get the Mandarin later. So, very good movie. Pacific Rim came out that year. I recently just watched that movie. Very fun mech fight movie. It's just very fun to watch. Despicable Me 2 came out that year. It's probably... I'm not going to say that because go check out my ranking of where I put it, but solid Despicable Me movie. Then we got Hunger Games Catching Fire. The second one is really good. I think the second one's probably tied with the first one. They're both really good. And then we got Fast and the Furious 6, which is just more from Fast and the Furious 5, so just still greatness in there. I just think that they're fun. But my favorite film of 2013 is Man of Steel. So this is the first DCEU film. I know a lot of people hate the DCEU. I didn't really care for the DCEU, but when they started it with Man of Steel, they were on an all-time high because this film is just really good and really solid. I think they did Superman really good in this film. I like the grounded take of Superman. Like, what if Superman just appeared in our normal world? It's just a very interesting concept. So, that's why it's my favorite movie of this year. But, like, all these movies are basically 8 out of 10s because I don't think there was, like, the best movie in this year. So, yeah. Alright, we're moving on to 2014. Some honorable mentions. Interstellar. I know a lot of people love Interstellar. I like it, but I don't love it. So I know a lot of people say it's like the best Nolan and everything. I'm not quite there. I watched it. I was like, it's a good movie, but it's not one of my favorite movies. Like, I don't love it as much as a lot of people love it. Guardians of the Galaxy came out that year. one of the best MCU movies. You get the introduction of them and this group of ragtag heroes forming a bond together to make a team. So that one was a really close one. X-Men Days of Future Past, I think that might be my favorite X-Men film. Really good, really fun time travel story into like merging the past X-Men movies and the newer X-Men movies together. Just, they did it really good. The Lego Movie came out that year. Solid animation film and just really fun to watch. Big Hero 6 came out that year too. Fun superhero Disney movie that's original superheroes. I don't know if they're original. I think Big Hero 6 is a comic book. I'm pretty sure it was a comic book. I'm not sure. It might have been a Marvel comic, actually. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. Alright, and then there was also Captain America the Winter Soldier. One of my favorite MCU movies of that. It's in my top 10 MCU movies, so.
What year is this?
2014. And then How to Train Your Dragon 2. A lot of people love that one. I haven't seen them in a while, like the first one, so I just put it on here. But my favorite movie of 2014 is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I think this is by far my favorite movie of the trilogy, the franchise of the Planet of the Apes films. And I just think Koba is just an amazing villain. Caesar is like front and center, and he's just awesome. The action sequence in this movie is awesome. You get to see the apes, Koba turn against Caesar, and it's just heartbreaking and like edge of your seat, and I just love that movie. Alright, we're moving on to 2015, and I had like a 3-way tie at number 1, but I did pick a number 1, solid number 1 for this year, but there was a lot of great movies came out in 2015. You got Avengers Age of Ultron. I don't think it's my favorite Avengers film, but then you get like the Hulkbuster, Ultron. You get a lot of good stuff in that movie, so it's like you can't hate. It's not like horrible. You still get like a lot of good stuff in that movie. You got Star Wars: The Force Awakens came out that year. I think it's the best sequel film.
Yeah.
It's the best sequel film. I don't care for the sequels as much now, so like this one won't really be one of my favorites at number 1 and stuff. It's just here in honorable mentions. Mission Impossible Rogue Nation came out that year. That was the 5th one. I think it's really good. One of the best Mission Impossible films. Ant-Man came out that year too. Very fun heist movie that came out that year. And I just really like
What was it?
Ant-Man. So yeah. Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2 came out that year. I'm not a big fan of the Hunger Games Mockingjay movies. Like, I thought it ended weird, and like the parts were kind of weird. So like, I'm not a huge fan of the the final 2 Hunger Games movies. So the next 2 were going to be my favorite movie of 2015, but didn't make it. So Fury 7. This is the last one with Paul Walker in it, and it's just very emotional film, and it's just really good. So that one could have been my favorite movie of that year. There also Creed came out that year. The first Creed, probably one of my favorite Rocky films of the franchise. So that one definitely could have been my favorite. But my favorite movie of 2015 is Jurassic World. I think Jurassic World is a fun, really good movie. I know a lot of people are like, it's just silly because like Chris Pratt rides a motorcycle against raptors. And I'm like, yes, that's freaking awesome. Like, that's just awesome. So, yeah, I've watched this film when I think I watched this, not in theaters, but I watched it as soon as it came on like Blu-ray and stuff.
Yeah.
So I watched that as soon as, because I was a little too young to see it in the theaters. So we watched it on like Blu-ray and stuff, and I just love that film. I think it's good. I think Indominus Rex is a really good dinosaur villain and stuff like that. So just a really good year, and that was a packed year for movies. Like Fury 7, Creed could have been number 1 too, but Jurassic World, I think, takes the top spot. Alright, we're moving on to 2016. Some honorable mentions is Zootopia.
Great movie, by the way.
Pretty good. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I can still... It's still pretty good. I like the characters and stuff. Rogue One came out that year.
I'm excited for the second Zootopia.
Yeah, Rogue One came out. If you see my Star Wars ranking, I put it like last place. I've changed. It goes up a little more. I might do a Star Wars ranking when Skeleton Crew comes out at the end of this year, I think. But I'm not going to do it when Acolyte ends because I don't want to. But yeah, Rogue One is just a solid movie. Doctor Strange came out that year. I mean, I haven't seen Doctor Strange in a while. I really do need to rewatch that film. But it's a fine Marvel movie. Kung Fu Panda 3 came out that year. It probably has the best villain of the franchise with Kai. You know? Just a very good movie. I don't think it's one of my favorites of the Kung Fu Panda films, but it's still very solid. Jason Bourne came out that year, the final Jason Bourne. Really, I think it's the best out of, 2 and 3. I think it's better than 2 and 3, but it kind of blends. I think 2, 3, and 5 of Jason Bourne blends together, and they're basically the same story, so I don't know. Batman vs. Superman came out that year.
Terrible movie, by the way.
I like it, but I don't like it as much. I'm right in the middle of that movie. I like most parts of it, but there are some stupid parts of it too, so
They stop fighting each other because they're almost the same.
yeah, so. And then
Comic accurate?
my last honorable mention is Moana.
Wait, was that comic accurate?
I don't know. My last honorable mention is Moana. One of the best Disney princess movies, I think. I like it better than Frozen and stuff. I don't like Frozen, if you guys don't know. I think Frozen 1 and 2 are some of the worst movies ever.
So bad.
But Moana is a really solid movie. But it can't beat my number one for my favorite movie of 2016 is Captain America Civil War. Because I'm a Marvel guy, if you guys couldn't tell. And I just think this film is awesome. You get to see Iron Man and Captain America fight each other in an airport. I mean, that's probably one of the best fights in the MCU. It's not the best. The final battle in Endgame is the best, but still a very solid final fight. Really good action in this film. Conflict, really good conflict in this film. Just a very, very good film. Alright, we're moving on to 2017. I have a lot of honorable mentions, so I'm going to go through these fast. Because this video is at 28 minutes, and my throat hurts from talking.
Makes sense.
My throat hurts so bad. I talk so much that my throat hurts after a while. So, let's do this. Dunkirk came out that year. One of the war movie that Christopher Nolan made. I think it's a very solid movie. I watched this for the first time this year, and I thought it was just a really solid movie. Junior's favorite MCU movie came out that year, Thor Ragnarok.
Yes, sir, Ski.
I don't think it's my favorite of this year, but very solid. One of the funniest MCU movies ever, and the best Thor film. Wonder Woman came out that year. Probably one of the best DCEU movies, and the second one sucks a lot, and it just staples how good Wonder Woman was. Kong Skull Island came out that year. One of the best MonsterVerse films, and I think it has some of the best characters in the entire MonsterVerse franchise. You got Spider-Man Homecoming that came out that year. The first Spider-Man movie in the MCU, which is really good, really fun. I don't understand the hate some people have for that film, but
What?
Spider-Man Homecoming. Some people hate Spider-Man Homecoming. I don't know. It's a really solid movie. Despicable Me 3 came out that year. Fun movie. I don't think it's top material, so I just wanted to say that. Fate of the Furious, where Dom turns evil and fights his family. It's kind of cheesy. It's kind of weird, but it's fine.
Cheese
Uh,
and pizza.
the Lego Batman movie came out that year. Pretty fun. Really good Batman movie. And I think it's just a ton of fun. Then we got Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. The first Jumanji movie. I think it's just a ton of fun to watch and everything. My last honorable mention is Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man Tell No Tales. This is the last Pirates of the Caribbean movie that came out so far. And I think it's just very overhated, and I just really like that film. But my favorite movie of 2017 is War for the Planet of the Apes.
What's that one? Third one?
Yeah, so this is the final movie in the Caesar trilogy, and I think they ended it off really good. I think it has a satisfying ending to Caesar's character arc in this film, and it's just so impactful. It is gut-wrenching because of how much characters die in this film. Everyone you cared about, that they built them up and stuff like that, just die in this film. It's just so heartbreaking, but it's just so good, and it's such a great finale to this trilogy. Alright, we're moving on to 2018, and 2018 had so many movies that came out that year, so many great movies, so let's fly through these. Black Panther came out that year. Very solid movie. I really like Black Panther. I think it's one of the most mature MCU films, so it's just really good. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse came out that year, and it's in an honorable mention.
What?
That's how you know how stacked this list is.
Oh, I know it.
I think there's one movie that was better than Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, but I think Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is like... I think it's just as good as Across. I think Across is a little better. But just a phenomenal animated movie. It's one of my favorite animated movies of all time, so you gotta give it praise there. Mission Impossible Fallout came out that year. I think that's Junior's favorite Mission Impossible film, right?
Yeah.
Really good. I think I've rewatched that one the most times of any of the Mission Impossible films. It has an amazing soundtrack. The action is awesome. It's at there's edge of the seat moments in that film. It's just really good. The first Quiet Place came out that year. Very solid thriller, edge of your seat, and it just like gets you every time. Incredibles 2 came out that year. Very good Incredibles movie. I like the sequel. It's in my top 10 favorite Pixar movies, so really good. Creed 2 came out that year. My favorite Rocky movie of all the Rocky movies, so really liked it. I think the final fight in Creed 2 is just awesome. Bumblebee came out that year. Really good. I think it's that is my favorite Transformers movie in the franchise. I think Bumblebee is really good, and I really like it. Ant-Man and the Wasp came out that year. It's a fun movie. I don't think it's like on the level of some of these movies, but still fun. Aquaman came out that year. I think that's my favorite DCEU movie, and it's just really fun and funny. Ready Player One came out that year. I've only seen it once, but I think it was really good when I watched it. Jurassic World Fallen Order came out that year. I mean, not Order. Oh, man, I'm getting mixed up with Star Wars, man. This is when I'm... There's not even a... Oh, wait, there is a Star Wars movie on here. It's not Star Wars The Last Jedi. I think that came out this year, too. Or no, that came out in 2017. I don't even know why I said that. Jurassic World Fallen World. I think that this film is overhated. I actually like the Indoraptor, right?
Yeah.
And the court stuff. I think it's fun. It's just a fun, dumb movie that I like. And Solo came out that year. It's fine. It's good. But if you want to see a really good Solo thing, check out our remake podcast where we remake Solo. I think we made it way better. But still a solid film. And then The Meg came out that year, one of the best shark movies, and I think Meg 2 definitely fumbled it a little, but Meg 1 is just really incredible. So what beated Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, you're wondering? My favorite movie of 2018 is Avengers Infinity War. Did you see that one coming, Junior? Junior? Why are you just coughing?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so... Everyone says this is the best MCU movie. I think it's my second favorite MCU movie. It's just so good. It's basically a story about Thanos getting all the stones, and he does get them all, and then wins. That's like one of the most cliffhanger endings of all time. And then you just get to see all these heroes from all the MCU movies just come together in one movie, and it's just incredible. So that's why it's at number 1 for that year. All right. 2019, probably one of the biggest years for movie history ever, because like there's like I think maybe like 9 or 8 of these movies made $1 billion that year, which is insane. So let's go do this. Oh my goodness, I can't talk. Honorable mentions: Spider-Man Far From Home. I think it's really underhated. I like Mysterio as a villain and stuff. Are you leaving?
Yeah.
Alright. See ya.
See you later.
So, I just really like this film. I think it's overhated. Toy Story 4 came out that year. I think Toy Story 4 is really underhated. I think it's a good epilogue to Toy Story 3, so I actually really like this film. Jumanji: The Next Level, the second Jumanji film, really good. I think it's as good as the first one, just a really fun film. Aladdin, the live-action Aladdin movie came out that year. I think it's the best live-action Disney movie that they did, so it's in my honorable mentions. The Lego Movie 2 came out that year. It's not as good as the first one or the Lego Batman movie, but it's still like a solid Lego movie. Fast and the Furious, Hobbs and Shaw, the spin-off, I think is just really fun. I like to see Hobbs and Shaw together, and they just have some funny scenes together. Knives Out came out that year. I love Knives Out. I think the murder mystery is just incredible. I love everything about Knives Out. I think it's just an incredible mystery, and I just really, really like it. Pokemon Detective Pikachu came out that year. I haven't seen it in a while. I kind of want to rewatch it to know how good it was, but I thought I liked it when I first watched it. And then How to Train Your Dragon 3 came out that year. Again, I have to rewatch them to see how good I liked it. But if you know what came out in 2019, and if you watch my rankings for the MCU for a while, you know my favorite movie of 2019 is Avengers Endgame. My favorite movie of all time is Avengers Endgame. When I first watched it in the theaters, I knew that was my favorite movie of all time. It's just incredible. The final hour is amazing. The time travel aspects in this movie is incredible, and it's just really good. Now we go to one of the worst years, 2020, when the world shut it down from COVID. So, not that much movies came out that year, so I'm going to fly through these honorable mentions. Sonic 2 came out that year. Not Sonic 2, Sonic the Hedgehog, the first one. Really fun movie. I really like the Sonic movies, and I think the first one's really good. Croods 2 came out that year. I think it's better than the first Croods, so it's on my honorable mentions. Love and Monsters came out that year. I don't really remember it. I've only seen it like the one time it came out, but I had some fun with it. I think I really liked that film. And then Onward came out that year. I think it's one of the best Pixar movies, and I just love the brother aspect of that movie. But my favorite movie of 2020 is A Quiet Place Part 2. My favorite movie in the Quiet Place franchise. And yeah, I just love Cillian Murphy in this movie. The thrills are really good in that film, so that's why I think it's my number 1. We're moving on to 2021, when movies were going back in theaters, so let's go through the honorable mentions. Shang-Chi, really fun MCU movie. Black Widow, really good. I think it was overhated, but like the twist with Taskmaster is a little weird. Dune came out that year. I said I hated Dune. Rewatched it, really liked Dune. So Dune is just really good. No Time to Die, the final Daniel Craig James Bond film. I think it's really good. I think it's a great end to James Bond's Daniel Craig in that film. Free Guy came out that year too. Really good Ryan Reynolds movie, and it's just really funny and stuff like that. Cruella came out that year. I think it's one of the best Disney live-action movies. And I mean, it's not really based off anything. It's based off 101 Dalmatians, but the spin-off, I think it's just really fun. F9 came out that year, the Fast and Furious 9, when they go to space. Kind of ridiculous, but it's fun, but like it wouldn't be like considered best of that year. Godzilla vs. Kong, my favorite movie of the MonsterVerse franchise, so really good there. I think it's not like top. And then Jungle Cruise came out that year too. I think it's fun, little adventure with Dwayne Johnson and stuff like that. But my favorite film of 2021 is Spider-Man No Way Home. It's obvious because you had Toby and Andrew coming back as Spider-Man at the end, and then this multiverse shenanigans happen. It's just insane, and I just really, really love that film. Alright, so now we move to 2022. I'm not going to give honorable mentions because I have rankings of that year on my channel, so go check out my rankings if you want to know some honorable mentions. But I'll tell you guys my favorite of those years. So 2022 is The Batman, and then 2023 is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And if you want to see the honorable mentions and stuff, everything, go check out my 2022 ranking and my 2023 ranking. And we made it to this year, 2024. So far, my favorite movie of this year is Dune Part 2. I think that film was incredible. I think they expanded the lore of the first one and everything like that, so it's just really good. So that's why it's my favorite movie of 2024. That was a long video, and comment down below, what is your favorite movie of every year I've been alive? So let me know in the comments down below, and I will check you guys on another Dev 2000 video and another ranking type video like this. Goodbye, Devers.